just to be sure.
So was that your first time seeing the new trailer or the new sizzle reel?
It was for yeah.
It was
yeah,
for me too.
I think it's a lot different than the last one. What do you guys think?
Loved it. It was really exciting. I think that it really showed the difference, all the different elements cut together really well, like the humor and the action and the comedy and the romance. So you can kind of see how it works, because when you read the script and you have so many different layers in terms of so many elements to the script, it's hard to imagine how it's going to fit. And I think in that you can really see the way that it fits so well.
Have you guys read the books, or were you familiar with the series when you were cast?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a big fan base for the books, and obviously, as you guys probably have already found out, fans can sometimes be very opinionated when it comes to movie adaptations of their books. Have you guys had to deal with that already, or are you worried about how fans are going to react to,
I've had little bits, like nothing too... The only thing that I've really had is my eyes are different colours, and Christian,
really cool.
yeah.
Everyone thinks that's really attractive.
I know, but I've had...
He loves to do this whole pity party thing where he's like, poor me, my eyes are awesome. Yet it's literally the coolest thing ever.
The only things that I've had from is because in the books Christian has blue eyes, so and it's written in quite significantly. But I've got one, yeah, I'm at least halfway there. So it's but that's all I've had. So
the fans were really upset that I didn't have big boobs. That was a huge issue for them. Hopefully they can get over it, but that was like a genuine problem that people had.
Oh my God!
It was like, she's not curvy. That was their way of telling me. But I'll have them know. I sorted the situation out.
Yeah, I think.
What?
We're talking about your boo-boo.
Felt objectified. No, I don't know.
I think for me, with my hair, Mia's character has blonde, long ringlets and blue eyes, and me, I do not have I do not have long ringlets, nor do I have long hair, nor do I have blue eyes. But I think once sort of the poster came out and people saw me as Mia, we've had a pretty positive reaction, so that's been nice. But there was definitely at first some, what is she going to look like? What are you going to do? She doesn't have long hair.
Right. I know what it's like for when you read a book and you get a really specific idea in your head of what it's going to be like, and everyone's idea is going to be different, so there's absolutely no way that it's ever going to match your imagination. And it's so hard to let that go, because once you see the film, you see the character as the actor, and it's always hard at first to make that transition and let the actor kind of take on your character that you've created in your head. So I don't think anyone's going to be happy and that they won't see what they imagine, but you have to just be open-minded and be ready for something new.
Can you each talk about what you like about the character that you're playing, and can you also talk about, tell us if there was a different character that, since you're familiar with the books, that you would have been interested in playing?
Wow.
sure.
I want to play Dimitri.
I'm exactly the same. I would have said that too.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I think everyone would. I think, but as well, because we've all met.
Dimitri, I want to be Danila.
Because we've all met Danila. I think playing Dimitri and being in Danila's shoes, even just for like 30 seconds of my entire life, would be amazing. It's such a shame we couldn't be here.
Yeah. I think the thing that the question was, what do I love about the character I played? Is that correct? Yes. I think there are many facets to the character that I appreciate and love and respect about Rose. One would be that her fighting skills are basically as brutal as her sense of humor. You know, she's someone who uses humor as a means of survival, which I think is also incorporated into the book, but also strongly in the movie. Now, I love that she knows what she wants and she will get it. There's no stopping her. And I love that she's loyal. And I think it's a really nice message for young teenage girls to send out, that friendship means that much. She would do anything for Lissa, and I respect that.
The fight choreography, tell us a little bit about the training process. And,
well, do you guys want to say something? Do you want to answer the question too? Everyone
Oh yeah,
answers about-
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we did an opportunity.
What I loved about Lissa is, again, same with Lissa and Rose, that their friendship comes first in everything. Of course, they have their amazing romances, and that's really exciting and wonderful. But the fact that the friendship is the key to the whole story is a really great message, because when you're a teenager, your friends are what really matter. And Lissa, as a not a human, but as a vampire, she is so sensitive and loving, and I love the way that she takes everything in and lets herself be affected by everything around her. And I think her vulnerability and the way that she is, so absorbent of everything is really lovely, and I really enjoyed playing that.
I think for me with Mia, what I really admired most about her was that, underneath this sort of shield that she puts up of being this manipulative, bratty, mean girl, she's really just an insecure girl who's trying to find herself. And I think that's something that's really relatable for all teenagers. I feel for me, growing up as a teenager, I just think that a lot of us are, a little bit lost in trying to find ourselves. And I like that she can, even though she's mean, I think people can relate to her by seeing that she's just unfortunately insecure. And she'll hopefully overcome that.
Yeah, actually I feel a kind of similar sort of thing towards Christian, in a weird way, that he has his kind of sarcasm and he has his sardonic nature that is very much a mask for kind of the pain that he's feeling, for how degraded he was in school, and all of the things that happened with his parents and so on. That I feel it's a similar sort of thing with Mia and with with Sammy and her character. That it is one of those things that's like, when you're a teenager, you do have to put up certain walls that kind of defend you from like what can be very mean-spirited and very effective when you're young and you're growing. So I admire the fact that he kind of finds Lissa and a kindred spirit in Lissa and manages to kind of overcome it and open up for the first time.
No, sorry. Now let's get to the fights. The fight choreography.
Yeah.
What the process of training? Were there any unfortunate mishaps on set with it as well? Who's the best fighter?
Well, that's not one question. Okay. I have a really bad memory. So, okay. I trained for about a week after I was cast. I started gym training, because I'm not necessarily a what one would call buff person. I began training very early on in the process, even prior to getting the second draft of the script. I was already training. I was in the gym at least 3 hours every day until I went to London, and then in London for 2 weeks I had stunt choreography. I only had 2 weeks to learn most of the fights, which was relatively stressful, but I think that was, in my opinion, the most important time of the entire shoot, was the 2 weeks I had prior to learn everything. The stunt team, stunt choreographer, and the stunt team are so wonderful and professional and helpful and kind and brilliant. So I felt very lucky to be in such hands. Who's the best fighter?
Zoey.
Yes, I'm not. I wish, but in my opinion, I think the best fighter, the one who looks the most badass, would perhaps be Dominique. Not him.
Yeah.
Dominique.
Yeah. Not me.
Dominique,
I have no fight.
Who's a professional dancer. So she would pull out these moves, and I'd just be like, what? How'd you do that? How'd you lift your leg like that? So I think she was incredible, and she's only in one sequence, I believe. She was
So inevitably, there are going to be comparisons to a certain other very popular vampire franchise.
We don't speak the name.
I don't, yeah.
I think there's something to be said about the fact that it was so successful. There must be something wonderful about it, and I don't put down that movie at all.
No?
Yeah,
No.
I think it's a great film.
Are you guys also ready, if this takes off like that, are you guys, ready to deal with becoming, worldwide superstars?
I don't think that's something you can ever be ready for.
You know, think about it.
Yeah, I think it's.
But
I
also,
think,
if I was speaking honestly without trying to sound cool or rehearsed, if that's the case, then that means this movie was a big success and people enjoyed it. It made people feel things, and they spent their money well. They enjoyed what they saw. They enjoyed the art, and therefore, we've accomplished what we wanted to. So in that sense, if I can look at it from that perspective, opposed to the word fame or celebrity or whatever blanket you put that situation under, I think it's a little bit easier to deal with.
yeah, it would be like a kind of semblance of success. Like set out to do this job, and we're obviously all aiming to get the same result. And if that were to happen, if we were lucky enough for people to kind of take it on as well as that, then that to us would be like, pat on the back, guys, you did a
Yeah,
good thing.
It's the most gratifying thing, at least for me, and I'm sure for all of you guys, about our job, is that we get to hopefully touch people, and that would sort of be evidence that we come.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are there already plans for sequels if the film does do well? Can you say it? You can't say.
I just shook my body, which I'm sure is happening. Maybe it's like some sort of, maybe it's like a
It's a visceral reaction, like shimmy means don't ask me that question anymore.
Wiggle out of this one.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk to the author about your characters at all, and any little insights that she gave you?
She came to set.
Yeah, the
it was
first time I
really
spoke to
great
him was on
meet
set.
her. I remember the first thing that I asked was what it was like to see, like, she, dreamed it up all herself, and to see your imagination made physical and real. And she said that what the main difference was is that everything was much grander. The book going into a more kind of Hollywood world, I guess. Everything becomes like, characters are all looking really beautiful, and the costumes are all amazing, and the school was huge and just amazing, like decadent, is that the word for it? And she just was really amazed to see everything so glorious, that it was so polished and beautiful. And I think that she was quite overwhelmed on her day on set to see that everything had come to life, and see Rose and Lissa and Mia and Dom and everyone standing in front of her.
Yeah, the day she came, we were shooting kind of a scene with everybody in the cast.
And kind of everything as well, like
Yeah.
all of the,
Really
like
got the
everything
vibe.
kind of came up, and like there were like powers we used, and like all of the vampires and all of the kind of lead Dhampir are all there. So it was really cool to have her there on a day that was so kind of that was a real kind of, this is what's going on, like this is a real look at the whole sort of thing. And which was I was really glad she came on that day, actually, because it's kind of a shame that she missed some of maybe oh no, she didn't, she came and saw like the stunts and stuff afterwards, right, after the classroom.
Yeah, and I think the question of like, did I ask her about the character? I was blessed with 6 books of what she thinks of the character. It's all from Rose's perspective, which is half my work is done for me, essentially. And when I met her, I was so shocked by how unbelievably beautiful she is. I turned into I just embarrassed myself. I just kept talking. I was just like really, and she's very composed and slightly quiet. So when that happens for me, I spiral out of control. Combined with her being ridiculously beautiful, like I didn't know what to do. So luckily I recently got to go to dinner with her and hopefully prove that I'm not as much of a freak as she thought I was. Dom was at the dinner, so no, he said no, Dom. Yeah,
I'm totally
She
kidding.
is wonderful and a great mother.
Sammy, I know that the sequel came out, but Mia's character has so much good stuff in the second book. I feel like everyone's hoping for a second movie, but I feel like for you it's got to be a
Like we said, we can't really talk. If that were to happen, that would be fantastic. I mean, I have knowledge of what's in the book, and I think it's great in the book. Mia sort of redeems herself in the second novel, so.
And we'd get to go to like a really fancy
And we
ski
get to go to a
resort.
ski lodge, and I love to ski.
Even though I don't ski.
It's okay.
You'll be
She learned how to
learning.
fight. She'll be awesome. But yeah, it could be really fun. So obviously we hope for that, but we can't say anything.
Yeah, Mason has a big part in that second book as well.
Can't
Well, it's a very difficult thing when we've put so much work and so much.
You don't want to have any expectations.
Yeah, but for me, it's really difficult to not be like, oh, I know what Christian does in number 2. Like, I know what happens. It's really cool, but then it's difficult for us to be like, let's just keep it on a level until we know exactly what's going on, and we don't want to kind of get our hopes up. But it's one day at a time for me personally. Like, and then hopefully people kind of enjoy what we did, and we can be like, right, number 2, let's do it. Let's move on.
It seems from what you're saying that it's staying pretty close to the source material. Are there any significant changes that you can talk about?
No, I don't think so. No, there's no. I feel like there aren't any changes where, like, the audience who have read the book are going to be like, oh man, why have they done that? Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like and even Richelle said herself, like she was very happy that the story has stayed very close to the novel. So I'd like to think that we've kept close enough that people aren't going to be outraged with what we've done.
Yeah, of course there's lots of little things that are left out and little things that are added for it to make sense in a movie format, which, you know, people are going to feel hard to accept that because it's going to be a bit different. But like we said before, hopefully people will open up and realize that it's got to be different to be a movie. So
Yeah, our writer Dan Waters is just, I mean, he wrote Heathers. He's phenomenal writer
and hilarious.
And yes. And he, I think, just did. No,
He talks about me like that's why I have to talk about him.
He did the just greatest job of incorporating, you know, as much as he could from the book, and also putting sort of his own spin on it with being, you know, just a writer of something like Heathers and really understanding what it is to be in that, you know, teenage world. And I think you'll see that in the film, and that's what people will really be able to relate to.
You mentioned in the panel that he gave you like 300 movies to watch. What movies did he give you guys?
He's a crazy.
Okay.
Watches millions of
So-
movies. He's seen every
so-
single movie.
So Dan gave me, oh my god. Okay, 300 movies. So
In 1 year.
Clockwork. So I'm supposed to see in 1 year. Okay, Clockwork Orange. What did I watch a couple nights ago? Manhattan, The Red Shoes, The Pianist, but I'd seen that already because I worked with Adrian.
He does this.
Woody Allen film.
People don't know
Bullets
this about
Over Broadway.
him. He makes a list every single year, and he categorizes it from like the worst to the best of the year. And he is crazy. Like he'll see 300 or more movies a year. Mental.
But he's brilliant. Like he's
Mental.
brilliant. I'm gonna stick with.
Literally, like I could ask him any question about any film, and he'll be able to tell me in 5 seconds. You know, quote a line, just anything you could possibly imagine. And the films that he was asking me to watch, you know, range from The Kid, you know, Charlie Chaplin, to a film that, you know, came out last year. It's just sort of everything. It's a culmination of film, and it's provided me with just the greatest education I could ever hope for.
Did he give you anything specifically for inspiration for this film or your character?
He gave me inspiration. He gave me a list of things based on my hair. Actually, I have hair. And one of them, which was really cool, was Rosemary's Baby. And right when we wrapped Vampire Academy, I went to shoot Teen Vogue, which is actually out this month in LA, and I got to the fitting, and they were like, we want you to be, you know, shoot as Mia Farrow in Rosemary's Baby. And that was like the coolest thing for me. Not only was it like Teen Vogue and everything, but it was Dan's recommendation, and that to me was just incredible. So he did give me like a specific, it was called like the Sammy Redux or something.
Yeah. When we had dinner with Mark and Dan, when Zoe and I found out that we had the part, they gave us a list as well, which had it had Rosemary's Baby on it as well, La Femme Nikita, Interview with the Vampire, yeah, like so.
And the soundtrack too.
Yeah, and we could listen. They gave us music that gave us like the feel of how they wanted Vampire Academy to feel, so we could start to kind of imagine the tone of the film and what we were creating, and then that could influence how we portray our characters. It was a lot of instrumental music, a lot of like, orchestras, and kind of creepy. It all had a slightly dark, creepy feel.
I would have friends come in my car, and that would come on. And be like, are you feeling okay? And you'd be like, dun, 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 dun. Bing, bing, bing. And then you're like, shouldn't get into this car alone. Yeah. I should talk about Mark too, because it's real. I think it was such a lovely combination and so collaborative with the two of them, seeing as they're brothers.
Yeah.
And Mark is someone who he gives you such. He loves it, like he likes to get like a bunch of different takes, completely different, opposite reactions, and that's so nice to feel free to do anything. You would initially come to a crazy idea that won't come across right, but he gives you that time and he's so organized that there always is enough time to do a couple extra if it doesn't feel right.
And there's always time to do the one for you guys.
Yeah,
like, let's
which
do the
is
one
like
for you
a-
guys.
That was the best.
Yeah.
He always says, "Oh yeah, do one for you," which
Do what you want. We can. It's then completely up to us as an artist, which is really nice to have that. Same as you guys are saying, like it's really nice for him to just be like, cool. I think I got what I wanted. You do one. You do whatever you want with this. That's cool. Whatever you were thinking. That's really nice.
I love that. It was
yeah.
really generous.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, at least from what I was shooting, I felt like I had really exerted every option in every scene. And yeah, like you said, that last, this one's for you, it's rare to get that. It's very sweet. And he's just
He's great
phenomenal
actually because
director.
he's a very kind of, he's an actor's director. Like he has all these different tricks that I don't know if I'm allowed to say any of them because they're rude, but he has all these different tricks that are like catered and designed around the actor. So there are things where if you're struggling with a certain thing, he's like, oh, why don't we try this before you do it? And like the same, I would imagine the same with all of you guys. We've all done like had different little kind of Mark Waters tricks added to our book, which is really nice because I can now take those on and use them anywhere else I need to, which is awesome. So it was really amazing to work with someone like Mark who just really gets it and really understands kind of what we like and what we need and how to work with us.
Good thing to say that he understands what you're like individually. He is someone who accepts people for who they are. At least for me, I don't know if I've ever, other than my family and maybe a couple of my best friends, I don't know if I've ever been able to completely be myself like I can be around him. He gives permission for people to be who they are, whether or not that's difficult, or whether it's quiet, or any of the above. He's accepting.
he's so encouraging and supportive.
One last question.
You guys are all relatively young actors, and here you are in this big movie with vampires and gothic stuff and like that. So what was the atmosphere like on set? Was it all work, no play? Was there a lot of fun being had between
So much
takes?
fun.
It was a very healthy mix of both of those. There was never a day when, and I'm just talking from my experience, so I don't know what I'd like to think these guys are the same, but there was never a day when we were like, oh man, I'm not in a great mood today, I'm not in a good zone. Like everyone was so together, it was such a family-based thing that even when we were doing night shoots and we didn't get home till 7 a.m, like it was still one of those things where we were like, sweet, let's go and let's enjoy this, and then we all.
I have to say, because I was there 24/7, I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't completely exhausted, and I think Lucy can tell. Like, it has nothing to do with the atmosphere. It was the hours we were working. We were shooting night
It's so
shoots.
hard to be awake at night straight for like 6 weeks of just.
It's a testament to your willpower to maintain a sense of perseverance, and to tell yourself you can do this, you can get through this. You're tired, but you can say these lines. And there were about 3 moments where I didn't know if I was so exhausted. But I think because we had such a strong foundation of friends, essentially like a family, we all got through it.
And I was so amazed with Zoey. Like every single day, Zoey was there from like start to finish all night, and just kept going through and always doing so well.
You too. You had
But
the
like-
exact same schedule.
Not exactly. It was like I was like, if Zoey can do it, I can do it too.
It was inspiring to watch, I mean, all of you guys, but especially you guys who were there every single day, to watch you guys work and to just be so confident and ambitious and just completely there 110% every day. It really was a pleasure to watch.
The group was amazing. So it was really, we were lucky that we had such an amazing team to play with
and the
every
crew
day.
and everyone as well. Like,
Oh my God.
it was, you know, when
It was a big family.
yeah, completely. Like they were the same. They would come in like 3 hours before us. They wouldn't leave till 3 hours after us, and it was still. There wasn't ever a sad face. There wasn't ever a like, I want to go home now. I'm done with this. It was always like really light, and that really helped me as well. Just be like, man, what am I complaining for? Like, I'm doing a movie. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome. Let's, you know. So it was all, you know, I really enjoyed it. And as far as the all work and no play thing, like I said, we became very close, all of us. So, you know, we spent a lot of time, especially out in London, like kind of enjoying being young actors in London.
Young.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a group of friends that, you know, will hopefully last a lifetime. To find that on a film is just